Will JFK return to rule the world in the last days? Was the brief reign and tragic death of JFK a part of his divine destiny? Will JFK live and reign again to complete his destiny? Did JFK's death fulfill biblical prophecy? Does historical evidence prove that JFK is the end-time beast of Revelations? Unmasking the Beast, the second reign of JFK. I would like to say that there have been a lot of signs in my life that there are spirits behind this book, but as far as this book saying that he's going to or that he plans on being an extremely bad person, I do not believe that. I believe the only things he wants to oppose, he wants to be more like Cyrus the Great. Cyrus the Great, although he was sanctioning things that were like idolatry and stuff like that, he was actually a peacemaker, and he fulfilled biblical prophecies that even Jesus Christ did not fulfill. And he created the temple for the Jews, created Israel, ended the Babylonian captivity, and the Jews accepted him as the Messiah, and even God himself in Isaiah 45 says, Cyrus my Messiah. And so, yes, Revelation says, and his deadly wound was healed, his fatal head wound was healed, and the world went after the beast, Revelations 13. And I have two surname alternatives that are alternatives for John and Jack, the two names that JFK went by, and Jack is an alternative for Jacob, and his wife Jackie Lee means Jacob, and Leah, and something very linked to the birthday, the 11/22 birthday. It led to me leaping off a 3-story building, a whole bunch of reasons why, but suicide attempt on my part that's caused me to spend 10 weeks in a wheelchair and move to higher ground, room 17 on the 5th floor, the day 17 died and 17 were injured in a Parkland shooting. JFK was announced dead at Parkland Hospital. 2 days later, Lee Harvey Oswald was pronounced dead. The movie Parkland came out at 10/4, and this is a different Parkland shooter and a different Parkland shooting that I move into room 17, and 17 in Italian Roman numerals XVII. It means I have lived. It implies a person who is dead, and in this case, it's on many Italian tombstones, so it implies a person who's living in the form of a spirit or ghost, and supernatural activity like hauntings or things that need exorcisms have caused Italians to be superstitious enough to avoid 17th floors. Sometimes, like, we do not have a 13th floor in our buildings. The number 13 and 17 very superstitious, but 17 especially is, and it's the 17th of the month right now, is especially something that has to do with spirits that are alive in spirit or that have died before and have maybe possibly incarnated again. And that's what this book is getting at more, is that just as the Spirit of Christ enters many, many people and can be in many people at the same time, and Paul said, it is no longer I who live, but it is Christ. There will be somebody who will be there will be many people with the spirit of John Kennedy, and many of the dead Kennedys. Their family had the Kennedy curse. They were the American royal family. And I just have a very strong feeling that I know the spirit of John Kennedy very well. And just like he was trying to fight militant atheism, and he did a very good job. And he would like to do what Cyrus did, try to create peace among people by ending religious bigotry and ending religious division, and also be a contender with God. Jack is an alternative for Jacob. Jackie Lee Kennedy means Jacob and Leah. Lee Harvey Oswald, the name Lee means alternative for Leah. And then Jack Ruby is another alternative for Jacob, and he killed Lee Harvey Oswald 2 days afterwards. And all those are name alternatives for Jacob and Leah, as if he was prefigured and overshadowed to be Jacob. And St. Louis de Montfort said, in the end times, the elect will be Jacob. And Jacob got in a physical fight with God, and he won. And that can actually be a very good thing. So JFK could, a lot of people under the influence of the spirit of JFK could restrain God's wrath, because Scripture says God is love, okay, which eliminates the possibility that he would be taking tortured souls to torture them forever. And there's very little evidence that the God who is love has actual control, because love there's scriptures talk about the God who's often very proud and often very jealous and often very bigoted, and he's willing to kill babies and kill children and curse descendants of people for very minor infractions or for things because they love somebody more than him, or perhaps because they've forgotten him because he's hiding himself. And the God who is love and the God that many of us know is not like that. And so this God who thinks it's okay to torture people and petrify people, it is okay to oppose such a God. And Jacob received the blessing Israel, which means contender with God. And he fought with God and he won because although he was fighting God, God was on his side as well, because God made man and woman in his image. And Jacob was loyal only to a woman telling him to break multiple of the Ten Commandments, to steal the blessing from Esau, from his father Isaac. His eyesight was dimming, and his mother was telling him to deceive him and dress up like his twin and break multiple of the Ten Commandments and lie and steal. And the greatest blessing, blessed are those who bless Jacob, cursed are those who curse Jacob. In and through Jacob all shall find their blessing. And I just feel that this could very well be interesting. It could be possible. Will JFK return to rule the world in the last days? And will it be just one person? Because scripture says the Antichrist has reigned as many people. So it could be many people. But it could be the spirit of JFK triumphs because it is a spirit of actual love. It says in scripture, the devil said, I will be God. Well, that could mean in this case, in the case of JFK, he said, I will do a more loving job. And I will try to institute a love has omnipotence and the ability to transform everybody into beautiful creatures, and let these people that died as damned souls have a chance to live life where they actually see the truth and actually know what they're doing and actually know what it's like to be loved and cherished by God and be given all the graces that the Virgin Mary was given even from the womb, and all the graces that John the Baptist and the saints were given, and see how much better a lot of these monsters would behave if they knew and experienced God's love. And so I think that's all that that JFK really wants when his spirit enters. I believe what's supposed to happen is I feel his spirit is within me and other people as well. And other people have come to this conclusion. And he received 666 votes at a Democratic convention. And I think but the number 6 can also be WWW. And W is a shorter version. Not the capitalized, but the opposite version of the symbol of the omega sign, the Libra sign, the omega sign. So 666 can actually be omega, omega, omega. If you think about it, it's it doesn't have to be an evil number itself, because God actually says, I am the Alpha, the Omega. But also, there's a lot of things we do not understand, but we want love to triumph over wrath and anger. We want love to triumph over this. We don't want to live in fear that people will be tortured for all eternity, because I cannot be happy in heaven worshiping a God that is responsible for all of these people, that he could have shown them that he loves and cherishes them. He could have shown them the truth, and instead he left them heretics and left them, tempted with evil appetites, and this God who would create all of these evil monsters to attack and torture people and deceive them. And he doesn't even open our eyes to let us see our enemy and know how to defeat him. And so there's a lot of reasons why people should be contending with God. And so there are, if the Antichrist might not fulfill all of those prophecies, because scripture does not have to fulfill prophecy. Nineveh, it was said that Nineveh would be destroyed the exact day. For 40 days Jonah was saying this is going to happen to Nineveh, and nothing he said was going to happen did happen. And so he wanted to kill himself. And so remember Nineveh. Just because God says something's going to happen like that, it does not have to happen. Anything is possible, including fighting with God and winning, getting God to change his mind. God wanted to kill over 99% of the Jews on earth, a worse Holocaust than the Third Reich, when the Jews were complaining in the wilderness. I believe it was in the book of Numbers or Exodus. and just Google it and you can see for yourself. It says, quote, God repented of the evil he planned on doing to Israel. But yes, I moved into room 17 the day 17 died and 17 were injured in a Parkland shooting. And it really changed my life in so many ways. And I'm just going to, I meet relatives of the Kennedys, and I don't know how to explain it to you, but for instance, I tape a picture of Jackie Lee Kennedy to my wall for the first time on Christmas. I write a letter to her. And the following January 1st, it's the birthday of someone named. So Christmas is the birthday of Jesus and Dionysus. The following January is the birthday of Denise, which means Dionysus, somebody that's the first kami to start appearing me and teaching me Shinto. And there is in my locked security hallway, there is a shock phone, and I'm shocked. And it's unused, and it works, and everything comes with the charger and everything, and unopened and all that. But the name to the person the phone is mailed to is Jackie, last name beginning with a K and middle name beginning with an M. But anyway, yeah, Jackie K phone, and on the birthday of Dionysia, and I just enshrined Jackie Lee Kennedy for the first time less than a week ago, or roughly a week ago, on the birthday of Dionysus. And the really weird thing about it is that security hallway locks on its own. So it would have had to have been someone who had a key to it would have had to have gotten there by the landlord using a key to get in, or somebody would have had to break in and leave that phone there, because I don't share the security hallway with anyone. And I don't know anyone in that apartment complex that goes by the name Jackie, last name beginning in K. And I've had multiple weird stuff like that take place, and I've wound up like in cozy cab rides talking, and suddenly I find out the guy I'm talking to is a cousin of Robert Kennedy and John Kennedy. And so and then I'm leaving Douglas Place, and it's run by the person that runs it. Her name's Jackie, and she was named after Jackie Kennedy. And so I don't know, I couldn't begin to tell you all. Oh, and the way that this book arrived. Okay, I was sleeping, and someone knocks on my window. I get up, I go to the door. He hands me the book, and the book is opened, and there's no package around. He says, I found somebody going through your stuff. It happened to be my only friend I had at that location who would do something like that. Go and intervene when something like that is going on. So it was like it says Unmasking the Beast, and here he's handing me the book. That should have gone in my mailbox, but it said it goes on my porch. And it doesn't have any wrapping. It's like it's unmasked. The beast has broken out. It wants to be bred, and it's... Oh, and then this also... I know no one has to believe me when I say these things, so you're just gonna have to... Whether you believe me or not, I'm gonna share it anyways, because I swear it's true. That very day, a spiritual director, I called him, and he was telling me about something he was reading, and starts quoting Revelations 13, and he's quoting Revelations 13, what it has to do with like Mussolini and stuff, who died the feast day of Saint Louis de Montfort, who said, in the end times the elect will be Jacob. And he said the priest he's quoting looks like me, and sent me a text of him. And it anyway, we'll just pray for this. But maybe we do need something. Maybe we can heal his fatal head wound another way, like Beauty and the Beast, and it's possible to turn something like this, get God to change his mind like he did with Nineveh, and turn this disaster, this crisis, stop the apocalypse, and turn him into something that where he contends with God in the ways that Jacob did, to win and get us more grace, get control of God's household and possessions, and stop terrible things from happening, and lead everybody to eternal euphoria and no more confusion. Sounds good to me.